Good morning, Twin Flames, and welcome to my channel. This is God Conscious Twin Flame 1111. It is so great to have you as a part of my morning meditation routine, and I want to thank you for joining me. You get to see this video whenever you're meant to see it. If it's not in the beginning of the day, you'll get it when you need it. So happy Friday to everybody. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you for all the likes and the comments. I really appreciate that. It is encouraging, as I was a silent part of this journey for a very, very long time. And although I was kind of on the peripheral of the community, it's nice to be in the midst of the community and an active participant on the Twin Flame mission. So I want to thank you for the encouraging words, and feel inspired to share your story with me. Feel free to email. The link is below in the description box. On Wednesday, the angels had guided me to do a 30 and 30, which is a 30-minute reading for $30 until the 30th of April. So I encourage you to take part in that to get a more clear view reading of your divine partnership, where you're at, where your significant partner is at, so that you can make the decisions that you need to make. Because in today's reading, we have a lot of choices that are showing up, and you want to be divinely guided, and that's how I've been proceeding on my mission. And though I was a little bit slow on the divine guidance part of it, I finally listened, and doing these readings for the collective is part of that divine guidance, and it is yielding results. I will share with you that my divine partner had reached out this week on Wednesday as well, which the reading had indicated was going to happen, and it took me by surprise, and I didn't respond right away. I waited, I slept on it, I prayed, I meditated. I was in this energy that's showing up again. This has been showing up a lot, sometimes in his reading, sometimes in your reading. But it was a very beautiful discussion that we ultimately had yesterday. It was more clarity for me personally, and I'm hoping that some of you heard from your divine partner. There was some honesty. It was a 45-minute discussion, basically with where he's at and what he's doing, and the cards really already had told me what was happening, and so it was validating. It was really validating to actually have that discussion with him and find out that I am on the right path. It was the angel saying to keep going, Pam. You're doing what we need you to do. Keep doing your mission. Keep staying in service. Keep doing these readings. You're doing a good job. I don't tell him what I'm doing in this regard. It's not necessary at this point in time. But I do have to follow the divine path and continue to do what I'm being told to do. So I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share it yesterday, but since I wasn't willing to make the decision to move forward on whether or not to really have a conversation with him, I figured let me just wait it out until I was clear, because I wanted to be prayed up when I had the discussion with him, because sometimes it doesn't go so well, and it typically doesn't go well in my estimation, because I have certain expectations that it should go a certain way. And there was divine timing at play. So I really worked to practice what I preach, and really worked to stay in the divine timing of it, because there are still underlying karmic energies at play, particularly for the divine counterpart that has not been on the journey as long, or who had a lot more clearing to do, to which I knew he had. And we know this based on the behaviors, based on the actions that they take, based on, some of the attitudes that they portray. I will be going into some more of that in the Twin Flame 101 series about that karmic energy. And that karmic energy really has to do with the 7 deadly sins that we all have to work through to get clear from, that we actually behave in. So I just want to make sure that you're mindful of that. So for today, I'm going to go now right into the reading. It is very wonderfully powerful and positive. I think I also mentioned yesterday that from day to day, the energy shifts. There's an energy change. Thoughts play a role in this. Clarity of thought is needed. And the emotions are also playing a role in it. So I'm going to begin with the masculine. So they asked me, I prayed over, shuffled, I asked the divine to come in and to give us a clear view reading on this Friday going into the weekend. We have maybe an opportunity to rest and relax over the weekend for some of us who don't work on the weekends. For those of us that do, you still want to be mindful of being a divine twin awakened and really engaging in the meditation practices that you may have, and engaging in the periods of time that you need to really take for yourself. So I'm going to begin with the divine masculine is on the left and the divine feminine is on the right. And I'm just going to go right into it. So the beginning card is the 7 of Wands, which means, there is some strife. He's defending himself. Now, he could be defending himself against himself. He could be in the karmic situations. Now, karmic situations don't necessarily mean a relationship. It could be the people that he had been surrounding himself with that needed to be removed from his life, but he chose not to. He hung on to them. They might have been a safety net from this relationship, but it's not really working out for him anymore. And this constant mode of defensiveness. The other thing that came to me with this card, especially when this side showed up, is that the restricted energy that you're feeling and the fear that you're feeling is kind of what he's defending himself from. And I could tell you that from the conversation I had yesterday. I did, throw out some things in that discussion. And he was like, please don't. I already know. Don't you think I am already paying for this? So it could have any of those meanings where he feels defensive and he feels already bad about the way he's acted and the belief systems that he might have engaged in. He was challenged yesterday. I certainly challenged him in the conversation, and I basically have really grown by leaps and bounds when it comes to dealing with him. I really said this is a matter of self-expression, and I need to express it to you. You do with it what you wish. It means standing up for what you believe in, and he did that. He did that very succinctly and without the anger energy that he typically can carry. I think that he did a really great job with, acknowledging his part and acknowledging where he was at and what kind of pain he is going through, which I already know because I have been on this journey and I've really been gung-ho about getting clear from any bondages of self that would prevent me from being a good, clear channel for you, the collective, for me and my immediate community, for me and my immediate relationships. I don't want to have to be in this position anymore. I don't want to defend myself. It just is. I am who I am. And there was some of that. He is who he is right now. And he's not going to be like that forever. But this is probably the energy that he's lived with for a very, very long time, especially if we're in a karmic relationship. We're constantly defending ourselves. And we're constantly, and you might know this as well for the person that's watching this, that the people in our immediate world don't know anything about the twin flame journey, and they're going to call him or her a loser, or, they're not going to understand the behaviors associated with this journey. I also plan on having a series on that and how to handle the two worlds that we live in. And some of us, there's more than two worlds that we live in. We have a family life, we have a work life, we have a friend life, we have the twin flame life. and how do we integrate and find balance in all of that. So the Seven of Wands is a defensive energy that can be handled as long as you keep your emotions at check and remain calm. A lot of what the reading is telling us to remain calm, that we will have choices to make, but to remain calm. So the second card they have is a wonderfully positive Nine of Pentacles. And that shows financial success, stability, rewards for past efforts. So yes, in the work position, he's defending himself, so he might have a work situation as well. This could just, the energy of having to defend oneself, we want to stay away from. We want to be more in that position of, I'm stable, I know what I'm doing. Even if I don't know what I'm doing, I know that it is divinely protected and that I'm working toward listening to God. And it is showing just all these pentacles over here, and she's got this beautiful red cockatoo, I think it is, on her hand, and the bird is, animals are very sensitive, but the bird is very confident about being with her. And so it reminds me of just the divine God in heaven who really wants us to get in alignment with his will for us. And then in the third position, which is the unexpected position, which would be a future position, we have the Ten of Swords. Now, the Ten of Swords has shown up several times this week, so that's saying that there is there is a feeling of loss after a difficult situation. So this could be a death and a rebirth of self. Maybe they lost their pride in some of this, and that's a big piece of how we lived. It was in pride, and that would still cause us to feel overwhelmed when we realized we were stuck in pride, and that could feel like a loss. It could conceivably feel like a loss. And then maybe that the conversation between you and your divine did not go well, or maybe in the 5D, you're still in this guarded energy. They don't want to lose us. They really don't want to lose us. They may not understand that this is a twin flame journey, but they do know that they're in love with you, and they do know that they've done things and that they regret. They do know that they feel like they could have conceivably lost you. In the conversation that I had with my divine partner yesterday, he said, thank you for responding, because by all accounts, you really shouldn't talk to me. And that's true. By all accounts, if I was to look at this from the third dimensional world, if I was to look at this from the perspective of, you're a dirty dog, which I had at times thought of him as a dirty dog, but I do understand the process of clearing, purging, and releasing, and I do understand the process very well, and I do really take into consideration where he's come from and all the work he has to do to get rid of that stuff. And the thing that my divine partner suffers with is revenge and vindictiveness in his personality. And I think he's starting to see that that's not working out, because we kind of talked about that a little bit in that discussion yesterday. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and we really have to let God take over. And when we surrender and let God take over, any affronts, like we did, like with the divine masculine, who's in this position of defense, he knows. He already knows. He doesn't know how to make some of that right, but he's working on it, because this is in the outcome position. He's working on it. He's working on it. He's working on finding stability. He's working on finding himself. He's working on clearing those lack of love behaviors. He's working on it. He's trying to understand himself. Mine suggested that he was potentially bipolar. I don't know if that's true or not true, but that's pretty a big deal, because then that requires medication, and that's a whole new work through. He's not indicating that he's going on medication, and I'm praying that if he continues to do the work, even if he's defending himself against himself or against, what he has done with me in this position, because he has the strength, because this is his role. He has the strength, he has the Queen of Swords, and that's a strength card. And that's a inner strength gained through personal experience and suffering. So he's getting to that point of not being emotionally needy. He's getting to that point of really taking care of his own needs without coming to me in a codependent way, which he had in the past. And he's really working hard on his business to become stable, to be able to feel, because men, typically they have to be financially stable in order for them to be emotionally stable. It just kind of goes hand in hand. And he did go through a really traumatic divorce, and as a result of that divorce, he had to rebuild and restart, and it really took a toll on him because, as you well know, what divorce does, it just kind of wreaks havoc within your soul, and that in and of itself is a spiritual experience that requires a spiritual awakening and an understanding. Difficult situations. So he's been through many difficult situations. Losing us, losing the divine partnership is a difficult situation that they may have not wanted to deal with, and would go to the people that really are not going to be of the best value for him moving forward. But he doesn't know where else to go, because he does need, we all need people, and sometimes we go to the wrong people, the people that maybe perpetuate our not so healthy behaviors. So the warning on this card in the unexpected is that the actions that you take could conceivably ward this off. And I believe that, you know, if they're being told to call you or to reach out in some way and they're not doing it, they're going to feel this way, like, oh, that's it, they're not going to want me back. Don't do anything about it. It's not yours to do anything with. It's just yours to be aware of. Don't try and soften the blows in any way. If you do, you're going to have to start kind of over again. I don't know how else to put it, because that's a codependent thing. Just because you're aware of it doesn't mean you're supposed to do anything about it. But it can give you an empathetic view of your divine masculine, and a compassionate view and an understanding view of where he's at and what he's going through. Because it's not all negative. I mean, he's going to gain the inner strength as a result of going through this. He's going to gain that inner strength. He needed that crash. You know, I kind of envision the foundation crumbling. And when the foundation crumbles, we reemerge, arising from the ashes, so to speak. So, so I'm going to move on to the divine feminine, who is still stuck in fear in her head. And this could also mean that you're obtaining clarity of thought, obtaining clarity of mind, because you have a lot of decisions to make. These are decision cards. He has decisions to make, you have decisions to make. If you're so focused on his decisions, then your decisions are going to fall by the wayside. There's opportunities presenting themselves, because you have the Fool again, and the Fool is brings a childlike innocence that it's recommending for you. Because if you're so much stuck in your head, that fear is preventing you from moving forward, you want to remain calm. That's kind of where I was at yesterday. I just wanted to remain calm, because I had I had a hard time moving from this position of I know everything is going to be okay to I actually have to have a conversation with him, and I didn't want to. I was afraid to have that discussion with him, just as he was afraid to have it with me. He didn't know where I was at. You know, he knows that by all accounts, based on his behavior and his past actions, that I really could and have the right to shut the door. He's aware of that. Most of them are. You have the right, to shut the door and not look back. And in most of our karmic relationships, we've had to do that. But this one is a divine partnership. So this one has an ultimate purpose for the pain. The pain, if you've gotten onto this journey, has the purpose of unconditional love ultimately, and loving under all conditions is what that means. And in the Bible, and God, the divine, loves us unconditionally. He gave his only son for the forgiveness of our sins. But we do not forgive the way God forgives, and he wants to get us to forgive the way he forgives, so that we can forgive all people, so that we can be an open channel, so we're not in judgment. We can use the gift of discernment. We can use the gift of discernment. Because at the end of it, I said, so what's the worst that can happen when I call him back? What's the worst that can happen? Because he asked me to call, and I did a little, like, all right, well, I did a text back, instead of just calling. Because I just don't want to put that kind of effort forward, like easing the pain for him, and he's got to do it. And in my prayers over the last week prior to that happening, I said, you know what, you got to make the first move. I'm not doing it. I have done it in the past. I need to stay firm in my conviction that I'm doing the right thing, and that when you're ready, you'll reach out. And God will tap you on the shoulder and say, you know what, it's time. It's time. And then you're going to have to get the courage up to actually do that. So I'm not going to cushion that blow anymore. It's not my place to, and I'm finally at the point where I realize I don't get to interfere with what God is doing. I just get to do the mission and follow through. And if I have to go through this period, then I go through them. And I'm going to encourage you, if you're going through this period, go through that period. Do a lot of prayer, do a lot of journaling, do a lot of writing. Get a personal reading for yourself for clarity on how to move forward. Whatever tools that you have available to you, use them so that you can make a sound decision for you. And the divine will guide you. And he is in this. He's saying to be like a little child, to be in wonderment and excitement, and in the present moment. In the present moment, the kids, to be like a little child. They're innocent. They're pure. They have no preconceived notions. They just are like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And they're in the wonderment of, oh, I can't wait to get there. And yes, we are too, like the little child. But because of the past, we have these preconceived, it's just going to be like it was. So you got to start a new day, and I think that was mentioned yesterday, and it's being mentioned again to you today as validation. Start a new day. It means welcome changes. Welcome changes means welcome changes on how you're acting. And so when you present yourself to the world, it's more pure, it's more confident, it's more secure in your beingness. Yes, you've taken some knocks, but those knocks made you into this beautiful, spiritual, enlightened woman or man who has a lot of light to bring to the world. And although the moon is behind him, he's a light. There's just a light about that, about the Fool. Just be in the innocence and see him as innocent, or her. See him as innocent. See him as just, maybe he's not going through as quickly as you. Don't judge that. Because the amount of pain, I know that mine had a lot of trauma in his past. A lot of trauma. I mean, by all accounts, the fact that he didn't go crazy through the trauma is amazing to me. So, I didn't have quite that amount of trauma in my life. So, although I had it. Okay, so I'm going to move on. Here in your unexpected position, the Emperor. So in his way, he is showing you the path in the 5D. He is showing you to be strong. It shows stability. So he's wishing that for you. Financial stability, emotional stability, empowering you behind the scenes, maybe by prayer and supplication. It also shows ambition and authority, and it's an authoritative figure. It's encouraging you to make decisions based on facts. Now, decisions based on facts. Yes, he was a bad boy or she was a bad girl before, but today is a new day. Today is a new day. It is a new day. There's encouragement here. There was encouragement yesterday. Focus on your craft. Focus on your new business ventures. Focus on having faith. that the divine is orchestrating all of this and that you don't have to do anything, that even your divine masculine is telling you, I'm putting forth for you financial stability, I'm putting forth for you emotional stability, I'm putting forth for you mental and psychological stability. Put that forth back to him. We teach what we learn what we teach. Teach him that too. And you have been, but right now we're coming into union, so there's a lot of like shakiness going on. We're coming into communication. For a lot of us that we're out of communication, and it's unleveling sometimes, because it's like we can't help but it gets into our DNA that we become fearful again. And the divine is saying, I'm protecting you. Just take the little baby steps, to be like a little child. If you were an infant, you had to learn how to walk, and then you fell a few times, but your mom or dad or your caregiver encouraged you, come on, get up, you can do this. You can do this. And that's kind of what I'm asking you to do, and that's what the angels are asking you to do. You can do this. Just keep moving. Keep moving. A little pat on the bottom and a lift up under your arms. If you can feel the divine doing that, it would really help you, because all the cards are saying, you got this. It'll all work out. So your role is the Seven of Cups. Choices are possible. You might be feeling overwhelmed, but you might be feeling overwhelmed with the choices that you have to make. Take a methodical approach, as I already suggested. Take a sensible approach. The sensible approach that you could take is staying in forgiveness, staying in divine will and guidance, staying close to your prayer and meditation, staying close to those of us that are on the journey that have been through some of this, who are saying, you know what, you're going to be okay. Yes, it's painful. You might have a few steps back before you have a few steps forward. That's life. A lot of us don't like change, but welcome changes are needed. You have to have some faith. You have to have a lot of faith on this journey, and a lot of you do have a significant amount of faith that all will be well. Because the outcome card, how beautiful is that? So you got the Ten of Cups with rainbows. It's a celebration card. You have them looking at each other. This looks like just two women hanging out, talking about how in love they are, just talking with their friends about the happiness. This represents lasting success, emotional fulfillment. It's a marriage card as well. There are two marriage cards in this deck, one on your side, and then one on his side. Oh, I'm sorry, the bottom of the deck. The bottom of the deck. Emotional contentment. There's a dragonfly. Dragonflies are one of my spirit guides. Whenever I see a dragonfly, it reminds me to go back to the angels and pray and thank them for the gifts. The Ten of Cups is lasting success and contentment. So as long as you're doing your work and you're clearing your blocks and you're following through with what divine guidance is telling you to do, there is emotional contentment at the end. And I know that we want this yesterday, but the joy is in the journey, so to speak. Metaphorically, timing is a man-created, man-made entity, and we tend to get caught up in, well, it's been 3 months, it's been 6 months, it's been anxiousness and anxiety. But we can transfer that into our personal life and say, you know what, I'm not there yet either. I don't need to be watching him. I got too much to do on my side. And the same thing for him. He needs to be taking care of him, and he's doing that. You're doing that, and you already know, because you've already done a lot of the work while he was off, seemingly goofing off. He wasn't goofing off. He had to go through each one of the lessons, and that's none of our business, the timing. Union is possible. Union is showing up. It's been showing up. It's been showing that it's possible. For some of us, it is now. For some of us, it's in the near future. Depends on when you got on this journey and how much work you've done and how much work you're willing to do. So just keep doing the work, keep doing the clearing. Each encounter with him is an opportunity, or her is an opportunity to check in with your angels, your guides, with God above, with Mary, whomever is your part of your spiritual team, your spiritual teams, because they're the ones who come into me to give you these readings, to give you some of the warnings, you know. They're beautifully inspired. I'm also inspired to share with you. I don't do reversals. My decks are all straight, and I believe that we get enough messages from Spirit in the upright position, which is more than what we need. This is already an overwhelming journey, so I don't do reversals unless for some reason they give them to me, but they don't tell me to do reversals. They tell me to, I'm also ADD, so they kind of work with me. Don't go against who I am. They kind of nurture who I am. And they're nurturing who you are too, in divine love and spirit, and you are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. And you want to be as strong as the Queen of Swords, and as courageous and as innocent as the child, and as courageous as the Emperor. You are all of those things. The Nine of Pentacles, which is, you know, just these are all beautiful, beautiful cards. So be encouraged and be, you know, don't let the feelings paralyze you. You're encouraging not to let the feelings paralyze you. So angels, is there any other final messages that you have for the Divine Collective who are on this twin flame journey, or who are on a relationship journey that has been struggling with their relationship? Because even if you're in a karmic relationship, you need this help and assistance from the divine to get you to where you are in a very sound relationship, where you are in a stable situation. This is showing that stability is for you too. But since I'm a twin flame, most of these messages are going to be directed towards the twin flames. There are a lot of us that are giving you these messages. And I think that there is consistency. I'm not watching a whole lot of anybody else's videos right now. But the validation, we all come with different language, and the way we speak is different, and the way the angel presents the cards are different. We have different decks, but they're all saying spiritually the same thing. One in particular, Simone Ascending, that's her channel, so if you can, check her out. I think I shared with you a week ago, I had a reading with her. I have been doing these readings only for 9 days, 10 days maybe, and the divine has showed me that this is where he wants me right now. So I'm going to ask the angels to give us validation. Listen. Quiet your mind, beloved one, and listen to our gentle reassurance that everything has been taken care of. Stay in a quiet and receptive state without worrying about the exact nature of your desire's manifestation. Let me read that again. Listen, quiet your mind, beloved one, and listen to the gentle reassurance that everything has been taken care of. Stay in a quiet and receptive state without worrying about the exact nature of your desire's manifestations. A quiet mind and body hears us quickly and clearly. That is our request to you. Listen. For both of you, listen. Listen to the divine. I had that discussion with him yesterday too. And then you got Adriana. See? She's leading the little children to a peaceful. I am leading you toward the answer to your prayers. Please listen to and follow the steps. I am communicating through your intuition, thoughts, and dreams. So this is seeking clarity. For those of you that are in fear, be in clarity and listen to your angels, listen to your guides, what they're telling you, the ultimate outcome. Be like a little child, innocent and pure. They don't hold on to the things of yesterday. They're in the moment. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. He is guiding you. The divine is guiding you. These are major arcana cards. So you're being divinely guided to focus on your financial stability. He's wishing for you financial stability. He's wishing for you emotional stability. Listen to that. And receive the positive light energies that are trying to get through to your body at a cellular level. So part of the advice this weekend is to find the time to just sit and listen. So yeah, that's all they want me to tell you today. They don't need you to have any other information. So I will be putting out videos. They're probably going to be a little on the sporadic side. Some of them might be live. I'm being guided. So just watch out. And if you haven't, like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe so that you can get our first, get the information as quickly as you need it. Happy Friday, happy weekend. Sending blessings of love. Don't forget, there is a 30 for 30. So if you want a personal reading, please, if I don't remember to click the link, it is in one of the other videos. I apologize, I didn't put that in yesterday. 30 for 30. 30-minute reading for you and your divine partner for $30 until Monday the 30th. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Feel free to shoot me your stories and where you're at. And if you've heard from your divine counterpart, I would love to hear about how that went. Just shoot me an email. Alrighty. Love and peace and light to all of you. Thank you for watching.